The fear of these like literally demonic human beings that are running the world and don't give a about human lives and enjoy watching people being tortured, enjoy watching people killed, participating in ritual sacrifice of people. And everybody wants to think, thank God that's not happening now. But then when you realize, like, that might have been happening now.
All right, buckle up, buttercups, because if you thought you knew the depths of the depravity, prepare for a new low. We're diving headfirst into the cesspool that is the Epstein scandal. And let me tell you, it's not just about a dead pedophile. It's about the root of the very core of our institutions. The elites, the politicians, the media, they all want us to look away, to dismiss it as a conspiracy theory. But the documents are out. The emails are exposed, and the truth, my friends, is more horrifying than anything Hollywood could cook up. We're talking about a level of evil so profound it makes your skin crawl. And the worst part? The people who enable it are still walking free, still pulling strings. Let's not mince words here. This is a war against the powerful, and we're here to shine the spotlight on every dark corner they try to hide. Let's roll the tape.
There was one where this one guy is saying to him, thank you for the torture video. It's literally a part of an email. The actual quote, thank you for the torture, like enjoyed the torture video.
Folks, let that sink in for a moment. Thank you for the torture video. Not for the dinner, not for a business deal, but for a torture video. What kind of monstrous, soulless person sends that, and let alone it receives it and enjoys it? This isn't just some sick private joke. This is a window into absolute, unadulterated evil that permeates the highest echelon of power. These aren't just rich guys. These are guys who actively revel in the suffering of others. They're playing a different game, a game where human life is currency and depravity is entertainment. And this isn't some back alley deal. This is a CEO of a massive Dubai port operator. This isn't just about Epstein. It's about the entire network of sickos who enable him, protect him, and shared his twisted pleasures. It's beyond disgusting. In fact, it's terrifying. It makes you wonder what other videos are out there, what other favors were exchanged, and how many other powerful figures are implicated in this horrifying web. And the fact that we're only just now getting a glimpse of this thanks to the leaked documents, while the mainstream media largely brushes it off. That's a whole other layer of corruption right there. They want us to believe this is an isolated incident. BS. This is a symptom of a deeply, fundamentally broken system. Period.
Joe Rogan is referring to a 2019 email that Jeffrey Epstein sent to Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem. Ben Sulayem was the CEO of a massive Dubai port operator called DB World. But today, he resigned because of his ties to Epstein. Here's what you need to know. Epstein's relationship with Sulayem went back at least as far as 2006, and they were still friends when Epstein died. Epstein claimed that his relationship with Sulayem was so close, quote, he was basically in charge of the port. Epstein's dealings with Sulayem helped build a partnership between Israel and the UAE. And in 2009, he brokered a meeting between Sulayem and then CEO of JP Morgan, Jes Stanley. Sulayem and Epstein weren't just business partners, they were good friends who went on vacations together. And we don't know for sure what transpired on those vacations. All we can do is show you what Ben Sulayem and Epstein messaged each other. Epstein wrote to Sulayem after one enjoyable excursion together in March 2007, "Hope you had fun. I'm glad to have you as my friend. You are the only person I have met who is as crazy as me." And there's more. In November 2007, a few months after his indictment in Florida on sex abuse charges, Epstein mentioned to Sulayem hearing a funny story from a woman they both knew. Sulayem replied, "Yes, after several attempts for several months, we managed to meet in New York. There was a misunderstanding. She wanted some business while I only wanted some blank." But Sulayem isn't the only high-profile official who just resigned over their ties to Epstein. Goldman Sachs General Counsel Catherine Rumler just announced that she will step down this June. She previously served as former President Barack Obama's White House counsel. Like Ben Sulayem, Rumler was friends with Epstein up until the very end. Over the course of their relationship, Epstein gave her all sorts of gifts, including flowers, wine, a Hermes bag, $10,000 in Bergdorf Goodman cards, spa time, an Apple Watch, and a wire payment of $53,750 to a private jet charter company in Rumler's name. The two had dozens of meetings over the years. They chatted and joked via email. Rumler was scheduled to visit Epstein's Island in 2017. In 2015, Epstein wrote to Rumler, on another note, I would love to see your version of Washington one day. If possible, CIA or NSA or boy stuff. In early 2019, Rumler gave Epstein tips for how to refute the claim that his 2008 plea deal was a sweetheart deal. Epstein called Rumler the night he was arrested. For a brief period of time, Rumler was listed as a backup executor of Epstein's will. We'll end with this 2016 email exchange from Epstein and Rumler. We all set for a day of joy? And Rumler says, best massage ever, but not your kind of massage. Every time I read these, Jank, I feel like I'm going insane. They were just so open about it, and they all knew what was happening. Many of them seem directly involved in it. And these are people at the top of the global economy and right next, like a heartbeat away from some of the most powerful people in the world. What are we doing? Why are Republicans and why is this administration trying to hide this?
Yeah, well, again, to be fair though, all administrations have hid this. So when I look at it, I feel the same way as you do, but I feel it in particular about the government and the media. Why do I say that? Like all this stuff is super obvious as to now that we have the files and we have the drop site news reporting on emails from Ehud Barak and Larry Ellison and all those guys. And our media goes, I can't tell what's going on. Nope, no idea. That's absurd. I mean, he literally brokered deals to get cyber weapons for Israel. It's not in question what happened at all. And so they're like, nope, I don't see it. Nope, we're not going to report any of the links at all. And Catherine Rumler, she was in the Obama administration. Epstein's trying to get something out of the CIA and NSA from her. So apparently it's not CIA, but the CIA does know about Epstein for decades. And to me, the most guilty by far is our own government. They know about this entire thing for decades. And they're like, yeah, we're good with it. Oh yeah, try to infiltrate us, manipulate us, do whatever you want to America, do it for Israel, that's okay. We're good with it. And in fact, we'll cover it up for you. And the thing that I can't get past, Jordan, is they knew that the next year they were gonna rape even more girls. And our government said, that's okay, protect them.
Stop right there. Our government said, that's okay, protect them. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. Our government knew. They knew these girls were being brutalized, exploited, and trafficked. And their response wasn't to protect the victims, but to shield the predators, to protect them. Not the innocent children, but the powerful, wealthy men who were actively committing unspeakable crimes. This isn't just a failure of justice. It's a moral apocalypse. It's a blatant, undeniable statement from the highest levels of power that if you're rich and connected enough, you are above the law. Your depravity will be covered, your crimes will be ignored, and the lives of countless children will be sacrificed on the altar of your privilege. This isn't some abstract political debate. This is about the fundamental betrayal of the trust we place in our institutions. When your government actively chooses to protect rapists over children, what does that say about the society we live in? It says the system is rotten to its core, absolute core. It says that the people who claim to serve and protect us are, in fact, complicit in the most heinous acts imaginable. And for anyone still clinging on to the idea that there are just a few bad apples, wake up, folks. This is the whole orchard. This is the entire freaking system, from top down, designed to protect itself, no matter the cost.
Don't out them, don't protect the girls, protect the predators. So, I mean, I can't abide by it. I can't stand by it. So the Sulayem guy, why is he so important? Everything connects back to Epstein and his cohort who are trying to help that same country we've been talking about. So how does the UAE get involved? So guys, when I see like Russia's mentioned in some places, Mongolia, UAE, some African countries, I chase it down because I didn't come in with any assumptions. And so Mongolia is only mentioned in relationship to Israel. UAE, if there was like 8 different things that connect him to UAE, I think maybe he was working for UAE, right? Because he's definitely intelligence and he's definitely with an ally. That's why our government is protecting him, and UAE is our ally theoretically. But there is no other connection. So why this particular guy? Because he was in charge of the ports. And you go to the drop site news articles and you find out that they were, the Dubai port was the one that where you didn't have to go through customs. And that's because this guy was running it. So one of the few places on earth that you didn't have to register anything in customs. So you could run your blood diamonds in Africa through it. You could run almost your weapons through it. You could do all of your illicit activities through that port in Dubai that this guy who sent Epstein the torture video was running. So again, was our CIA involved? Did they run some weapons through that port? Probably. And maybe that's why they let him rape the American girls. But they definitely did. So don't gaslight me that they didn't. It's literally impossible for them to not have known about Epstein because the government already had the files. We just found out about the files. The government had these files all along. And they said, yes, let's protect the rapists because of, presumably, based on every connection here, beloved Israel, okay? And so one last thing about Rumler. So she's working with Obama and she's trying to help Epstein with every single thing. Jordan, I just, like, you can't get past all these evil things they did. And let me just give one quick note too about the evil stuff. I mentioned the missing babies earlier and Rogan talked about it, just so you know. The stories about the eating of the babies or anything like that, cannibalism, that's unsubstantiated. One rando guy writing in a tip in 2019, okay? So don't go off the deep edge and believe that. But were there missing babies? That's absolutely shocking, but yes, according to some people we know are survivors. The 16-year-old's baby was taken away and we don't know what happened to it. And they talk about the sulfuric acid, and it's true. On the day that the FBI notified Epstein that he was under investigation, Epstein bought 330 gallons of sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid can melt bones. It's one of the very few things that can melt bones and teeth. And so some enormously dark stuff was happening. And what I was gonna say, Jordan, is the government sees all this and they're like, yeah, that's okay. Let Obama's people talk to Epstein and give him information. Let him do all the things that he's doing. So how could I ever trust the American government again? And how could anybody claim that it's not compromised?
I'm just like, I'm at a loss. The more we learn from it, and there's still so much more that's coming out. I just like, you remember when we first started talking about this, you would raise the Israel connection and I would kind of decline to get in because I wasn't sure. I don't know how, after everything we've now seen, all these emails, all these documents, it seems undeniable at this point. I mean, even going back to revisit local news coverage from South Florida before his indictment, or sorry, before his sentence in 2008, there's a local news story. Look, anyone can look this up. This is out there. He went to Israel. He was convicted of felony sex abuse charges and they let him go to Israel. Sorry, you're already convicted. You're waiting for your sentencing and you're allowed to leave the country and you go to Israel. What? In what world is that permissible? Who else would get that kind of treatment? Like that alone, not even to mention any of these emails, that fact, that reported fact alone should ring alarm bells for everybody. And then you add the emails. What is happening here? Like I genuinely feel like the more I read about this and the more that comes out, thanks again to the leadership from Massey and Kana, I feel like I'm going insane. Like this is stuff that I would, in any other circumstance, see presented in front of me, like that's a conspiracy theory. I don't want anything to do with it. This is fact. To quote Alex Jones, we've got the documents. Like this, I'm going insane, Jank.
Ironically, Alex Jones can't figure out who did it, which I find to be very, very curious, right? Okay, but the reason why we are so frustrated by Jordan is because it's classic gaslighting. That's how gaslighting works, right? And so last things here, Epstein also donated to the IDF. Gee, I wonder which country. Robert Maxwell is Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. Robert Maxwell stole our nuclear secrets, but that's why I'm not telling you that because of that fact. I'm telling you because we didn't even arrest Robert Maxwell. We didn't even try to arrest Robert Maxwell. When asked, the American government said it would have caused an international incident and embarrassed the Israelis. Yeah, if you steal our nuclear secrets, the very least thing we could do is embarrass you. And then his daughter happened to be involved in the Epstein plot. I'm sure it's a wild coincidence. Mainstream media tells me that it is a wild coincidence. In fact, they don't tell me anything because they refuse to ever talk about Israel, which makes me realize that they're totally compromised as well. And lastly, if you don't know, there were dozens and dozens of Israeli spies arrested after 9/11. And what did we do? We let them go back to Israel.
Okay, let's connect some dots because this is where the picture gets truly chilly. Israeli spies arrested after 9/11 and our government just lets them go? Back to Israel? Are we serious right now? Imagine if they were Russian or Chinese spies. The outrage would be deafening. The highlight lines would be screaming treason. But because it's our ally, we sweep it under the rug? This isn't about blind loyalty. This is about compromised sovereignty. It points to a deep, uncomfortable truth that our government, for decades, has been more concerned with protecting foreign interests and powerful players than safeguarding its own citizens or upholding justice. It makes you wonder who really called the shots, doesn't it? The mainstream media, of course, is completely silent on this. You don't hear a word from them, not a peep. They'll talk about anything but the real power brokers, the uncomfortable alliances, the systemic corruption that allows literal spies to walk free while whistleblowers get thrown in jail. It's not a coincidence, folks. It's a coordinated effort to keep us in the dark, to prevent us from seeing the full extent of the rot. When you combine this type of geopolitical manipulation with the Epstein network, you're looking at something far more insidious than simple crime. You're looking at a shadow government, pulling strings and ensuring their untouchable status.
Who arrests spies in their own country from a foreign government and then lets them go? Unless that government is in charge of your government. So yes, all these terrible things did happen and the people who plotted it are not complicated. They're right in front of you. It's a different government.
So there you have it, folks. The Epstein case isn't just a sensational scandal. It's a glaring indictment of the entire global power structure. From corrupt CEOs and politicians to compromised intelligence agencies and a complicit media, the web of deceit and depravity runs deeper than most dare to imagine. But we can't afford to look away. We have to keep demanding answers, keep sharing the information, and keep holding these monsters accountable. Because if we don't, if we let them gaslight us into believing this is all just a conspiracy theory, then we are truly lost. The truth is out there. In the documents, in the emails, in the testimonies. It's horrifying, yes, but it's real. So, tell me, what are you going to do with this information? Don't get angry about it, get active. Share this video, talk about it, and let's keep the pressure on until every single person involved in this evil network is brought to justice. The children deserve nothing less. And as always, stay woke, folks. Stay woke.